Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Matt here. This is day 2.5 of my van life journey, the beginning, the inception. And we have a lot of firsts that will be coming up. I'll be talking about those firsts. I flew a beautiful flight alongside these just gorgeous, I don't know what these buttes, I guess they'd be called buttes. They're buttes. They are buttes of the buttes. Anyways, I woke up this morning at a Walmart parking lot. I'll tell you what, parking at a Walmart parking lot makes a lot of sense. Not only are you, protected because there's cameras there. There's other RVs around you, so you know you're not like isolated. There's a Walmart there, so when you wake up in the morning, you can go in, get some fresh groceries. You know, I'm actually buying, towels and some things. I'm making lists, and I'm like, I'd like this. I got this fly stick tape because yesterday I had a family of flies in here. Anyways, the temperature cooled down at night a lot more than in Texas, and so much so that I woke up chilly. I need a comforter. I can't sleep on top of the bed like I did in the night before. But we're on the road. We should be about 500 miles. I'll arrive to my friend Matt's house. For those of you that don't know, hi, my name's Matt. I was attempting to cycle around the world, but my ultimate goal is to travel around the world. And cycling tour kind of was scuttled by the pandemic, so I decided to come back to the United States and use. I had the last year I spent in China. Now this year I'm spending in America, and I'm gonna try to travel around this country on my own in this van. Should be cool. But yeah, it is beautiful. Look at that view. And the windshield and the like tinting on the windows actually goes a long way to create like a natural HD filter, which is cool. Alright, we've been riding a little while, and there is a meteor crater that is just off the road over here, and it's 2 o'clock. I haven't eaten anything, so I got a cooler in the back with nice cold water and some stuff I bought at Walmart. I think I'm going to go to the meteor crater and have my lunch. Late lunch. I got 290 miles left, so that's about 4 hours, just under 4 hours, so that puts us arriving at, barring no long stops, being at my friend Matt's place at 6 o'clock. Very, very beautiful terrain here. Wide open spaces, man. Wide open. There's a lot of space out here. Lots of space. Reminds me of Mongolia, Inner Mongolia. Ham and cheese. I'm a simple man. I am a simple man. I was in Walmart and I really like salads. There's one thing I missed in China. Chinese don't eat a lot of salads, like cold salads. They're getting more and more salad culture, but barely anything. So I bought, some stalks of ramen lettuce, and I bought some salad dressing. So I just put the salad dressing on. I'm a simple man. I don't need bowls. I don't need forks. I just need a salad. And it's good. Who needs to chop that stuff up? My teeth do that. Who needs a fork? I got a hand. Nature provided me with everything I need. I'm going to eat this up and then go up and see the crater. There's no drones allowed here, but I'm sure if I get outside of this place, I can get up high and get a really cool view. Especially maybe I can get the van driving away from the crater. It would be neat. As I live this life, I'll tell you advantages that I see as opposed to cycle touring. And I'll tell you what, being able to stop my vehicle, grab all my stuff except my backpack, and go up and do some adventuring definitely has its highlights. Normally I'd have to take my backpack and unpack the trike and be careful, but now as long as the van's locked up, I'm good to go. You ever try to dig a hole, like with your hands or even with a shovel? You ever try to break a rock apart, like throwing it against other rocks to break it? Multiply that by like billions, and you have what happened here. It was $22 to come here, so you know, I didn't want to do the tour or anything. I just sort of wanted to come here. I don't have a lot of time, but a meteor impact is pretty cool, right? Let's walk down to the bottom rim there, because there's a little observatory where there's nobody there. This is like the top of the rim. I can see my van from here. There she is. Now there's no drone flying, like I said, over the crater, but there is a beautiful, beautiful road that's out here. Freshly paved, painted, really, really nice. And there's not a lot of traffic, like zero traffic. So I'll get a great shot of the crater, then the van, then me driving away, and that'll be the last battery on my drone. But let me go down to the bottom observatory here, right down there. Now, just to give you a thought, how long ago do you think that this crater was formed? If you're like me, you'll come up with millions, hundreds of millions, I don't know, big numbers. 50,000 years. 50,000 years ago. In geologic terms, that's like yesterday. That's like primitive man would have seen it. That's crazy. So this meteor was traveling at like 26,000 miles an hour, and it was about 150 feet across. And it landed right in the center there. I guess the meteorite was stolen or sold or whatever. But you can see there's something going on in the center there. You can kind of see that ring. I'm sure that's just from people kind of milling around down there, or geologists. You can see this little white area there. It looks like where they might have found fragments of it. I mean, geez, the amount of heat that was produced, I mean, you would imagine it would have just vaporized. I'm always surprised that people can find fragments of meteorite in the center of some of these craters. It's crazy. Is that this crater is in the middle of very, very flat terrain. Like if this would have happened in like a really, really mountainous area, it would have almost blended in. But because it's just flat land everywhere outside of this crater, it sticks out like a pimple on an otherwise unblemished face. The crater is 4,000 feet across. I'm using feet now because I'm in America, so sorry. And 550 feet deep. But when it crashed, it was down 700 feet. So like the meteor dug down 200 feet into the earth, and then the earth sort of rebounded. It's very windy right here. Pretty cool. All right, I gotta get back on the road. When you come to places like this, you realize a lot of things, like the power of nature, the sheer enormity of time. Although 50,000 years is not so long, it is still longer than I live. Maybe technology will come, I'll live longer. This rock, that rock. How high was that rock in the air at the time of the impact? And how far was the farthest rock thrown? That's an interesting question, right? How far did the debris, the farthest nugget of debris, fly? Pretty incredible. And it's been, all these rocks have been resting ever since. Hey, I gotta come up with a name for this guy. I gotta build him out a bit more before I give him a name. He needs a bit more. I need to feel him out, see where his personality lies before I give him a name. We're driving past Bullhead, Laughlin. It's the city that you reach about 100 miles before you get to Vegas. The last time I was driving up through Laughlin or Bullhead in a truck this direction was when I was moving here way back 2005, I think. Crazy. The memories are kind of flooding back. My dad and I, well, my dad's a mechanic and a bus mechanic. Well, was. He passed away a number of years ago. But he and I were looking into a moving truck because I was going to move my whole life to Las Vegas because I was doing business with a lot of casino-related vendors and in Detroit, because Detroit has a number of casinos, and I thought, well, if casinos are interested in buying the service that I was providing, then maybe moving to Vegas would be a smart move. So I had a bunch of inventory of some items and a bunch of stuff, and I was checking on renting a box truck from like Ryder or U-Haul or whatever. It was very expensive, like like $3,000 to drive it one way and leave it in Vegas. And so my dad and I were like, well, maybe we can buy a truck for the same price. So we looked around the used market and we found a used big 24-foot blue box truck with alignment issues and tire issues. But my dad knew how to fix it, so we bought it. We brought it into the backyard of the house. I remember we pulled it all the way into the backyard and we jacked it up and we fixed it. And it was an old truck, had a couple of 100,000 miles on it if I remember correctly. And I took that truck from Detroit all the way to Vegas. We bought the truck for like $2,000, like $2,500 I think. Bought it. I mean, it was an asset at that point in time. But that truck, that was an old truck, and man, that thing had a limited lifespan. And I remember coming up through this area right here, that truck was having a rough go of it. When I was going through some of the hills on the way up, the ups, it was like 40 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. It was slow going. The little engine that could. And even Texas, the place where I came from like yesterday, we were driving, I was alone driving across the Panhandle. I really wish I was vlogging then because that was quite an adventure. I was driving on the Panhandle on a Sunday, and this truck was huge. I couldn't feel what was happening in the back, but in the back I was towing my little Kia Spectra, this little hatchback, lightweight car. And it was on one of those front two-wheel trailers. So like the two wheels were being drug along by a trailer, but the rear wheels were on the ground. And so that was hooked onto the rear trailer hitch of the box truck. I was sort of like a train. And I remember on the Panhandle of Texas, I kept seeing this thing pop in and out of my vision. I was looking at the side view mirror, and this just object, just like, what? Did I see something? What was that? And then I looked, and I finally saw what it was. I didn't even feel it, but the trailer hitch on the back of the van broke. Just broke right off. The weld gave way, and there were two chain hooks, one here and one on the other side, that were hooked to chains that were like a safety measure. So if the trailer hitch does pop, at least those chains will grab on. And one of the chains, the hook, which was like this, was like that. I mean, it just bent straight out, and obviously just that chain was hanging, and the whole car and trailer was hanging by a single hook. It was crazy. So what was happening was, because that hook was to one side of the trailer hitch, the trailer was just swinging around like this, like Stevie Wonder. And every time it whipped on one side, I could see it out of the side view mirror. And so that little thing that I kept seeing was my car, like whipping across and then back. It must have been an amazing sight if you were driving behind me. this little red hatchback, hanging on by literal finger hook, was just whipping back and forth. So someone was looking down on me because the hook never let go, which is amazing. The amount of stress that hook must have been under was incredible. And the truck that I had was way, way high off the ground. It was like a box truck. So the box was sitting like, I don't know, 3 feet off of the ground, you know. Even now in this truck, there's only like a foot off the ground. I would like to get a little bit more distance there. But anyways, I was fearful that when I started to brake, the trailer was gonna jam underneath the truck and the car would run into the back of the truck. Because I wanted to stop. This all happened in the matter of seconds. But I had no other option, so I hit the brakes, and luckily the trailer rose up and jammed itself in between the first step to get into the box of the box truck, and it sort of wedged itself there. So as I reduced speed on the truck, the car itself slowed down, the trailer itself slowed down, and I was able to get everything off to the side of the road, no worse for wear. Amazing. 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 Funny thing was, it was Sunday, there was like no traffic, and everything was closed. So I couldn't call for any help. No one would come to my aid. I ended up dropping the car, detaching it. I had to get a welder. There was no way I could get anywhere without a weld. I left the car on the side of the road. I took the box truck as far as I could find until I found a welder, and I had them weld that ball joint onto that hitch. So I mean, he just went to town. I said I want to see that thing bubbling up. So he welded it back on, and I ended up going back and hooking up the car and then making it the rest of the way. And then by the time I got to Bullhead here in Laughlin, we're past it now, it was the home stretch. And I drove that box truck to Vegas. I put it at a storage unit, like a parking lot, and that became my warehouse. I ended up using it for 5 years to store all of my stuff. Living in a small apartment. I lived in a very small apartment until I moved. First time I moved to Vegas, I lived in a small apartment. Did some business, used the truck as a warehouse, and then I sold the truck for like $300 more than I bought it for. Kind of an interesting story. The sad caveat to that story is when I sold it to the guy, it was running okay. He ended up driving it home, and the next day he told me that it conked out. And he was pissed, but I didn't know what to say. Buyer beware. It was an old truck. It was running well when I sold it to him, but he said it's nothing but a flower pot now. I do feel bad about that, but it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, that's an interesting. All of those feelings of that trip flow back to me. I really wish I was doing a vlog of it. I feel like we'll probably be going over Hoover Dam, which is another memory I have. I lived in Vegas for 5 years, so during that time I racked up a lot of memories there. When we go there, we're going to meet my friend Matt, and then I'm going to end the vlog, and then I'll pick up later with a future vlog, but I'm not going to get too deep into Matt, because the story of me and Matt is very interesting if you haven't heard it already. We'll catch up with my buddy Matt Frazier. But yeah, long road trip with the truck, 1,300 miles. Pretty good, pretty good. I am looking back at that thinking over and over and over and over of all these ideas for this truck's transformation, and I have some great ones. I think I'll tell you more about them later. Right now, let's keep on driving. What a good day. It was a great day. We basically did the same thing I would have done on the trike. I saw some cool places. I pulled off to the side. I rode those places. I flew the drone. These are all what I would have done with my trike, cycling around the world, but instead we covered a much, much greater distance, and we did it via the motor, you know, so I was able to cover a lot of distance. I probably passed up a lot of cool places, but I also covered like 600, 500 miles today, which is cool. All right, we just crossed over the Hoover Dam. Now the familiarity of this place is really setting in. The bridge we drove over, I couldn't get a good shot of the Hoover Dam, but I've been there so many times. But I kind of wanted to see how low the water is. It's supposed to be pretty low. There's Vegas through the dirty windshield and sort of hazy smog, sort of. But so weird being back here. I'd always intended to come back here cycling, you know, like it was going to be my redemption arc, returning to Vegas, but on the seat of my trike. Hey, motherfucker, you got a big van parked in front of your house.
What the hell, dude? Barely fits.
Barely. No. Hey, look at you. You're smaller than I thought. Oh.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How's it going? Good to see you.
Tyson, you want to live in one of these? Come here.
You gotta drive it, man. You gotta feel what it's like.
It is big.
It's a big dog.
What's up? Come on.
Oh, good jump, Tyson. That was good.
You're totally a banner dog, I can tell. Look at this.
Yeah. Look at the headroom you got. You don't get that. You wouldn't have had that in the ProMaster. Yeah. Any shorter than that, you know?
I have to have windows though.
Oh, got to. Windows there, windows there, windows there, windows here. I'm putting them all in.
So this is what I was thinking. We'll talk about it, obviously. But I'm honestly thinking, like, is it best for me to just buy, like a skeleton?
Yeah.
But
It's a lot of work, man.
I was about to say that. It's not the work. It's the lack of know-how.
Yeah.
The lack of experience.
But you watch YouTube, a lot of those people never built anything in their life.
I know, but I also don't want to be tricked by those people because I don't know them.
Yeah, I know.
They don't like. I have.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's. I mean, I'm a 42-year-old man. I have the basic knowledge.
Right.
The basic stuff.
We're not 20-year-old.
Here's my thing though. I get frustrated very easy on like when things don't fit. Or, like I can see myself throwing tools. I haven't sat in the passenger seat yet.
Okay, so he wants to buy a van. I'm gonna let him drive. I don't have a name for it yet, so here's a backup camera here. But it's a big dog. You gotta use your mirrors. Yeah. Turning radius is actually
those like white lines. That helps. So God, that helps.
I had to clean the windshield before I came in here because it was full of bugs. Oh, it's up. You put it down and you can just lock it whatever height you want.
Okay, I'm pressing it harder and harder. It's still not going. I used to just.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit different.
Yeah. Honestly, this doesn't feel as intimidating as I was expecting.
I know. That's the Ford as opposed to the other ones.
All right, here I go.
Oh.
See if I can see myself doing this.
Yeah.
So wait, how do you turn the lights on? Are they on?
Yeah, they're on. Automatic.
Yeah, see, that's another reason I kind of want a newer one. Because I want all the...
Oh man, the lane avoidance and stuff, and it alerts you. I have an app where I can start it from my phone, and lock it and unlock it from my phone. It's got a wireless network by AT&T in the van.
This isn't much wider than my Jeep, right? Like
yeah. I mean, it's kind of skinny, you know.
I was expecting it to be more of a behemoth to drive.
Well, if I would have bought that bus, that would have been a behemoth.
Yeah. I think you were a little bit too idealistic about buying a bus.
Well, I could have made that work, but
you definitely could have made it work.
I'm pretty glad I chose this.
Yeah.
This is a bit more sophisticated and
more versatile too. Like you can go more places.
Yeah. That bus was wide. That fat ass on that thing.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Comfortable seat, like.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
How does it? Now that I've driven this, how would you describe driving a ProMaster?
It pulls you. You know, it's a bit different. It doesn't feel as stable. This feels more like you're driving a truck. but the ProMaster feels like you're driving a van. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Okay.
Because like this to me feels like I'm driving maybe like a bigger SUV.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I'm in anything that I haven't driven before.
Yeah.
When I look back, I do. But like,
yeah. Well, I'm keep looking back there thinking, oh my God, in a little bit of time, that's going to be my house. Yeah. Right now, it's just it's a mess.
It's a thrilling idea, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a 350, so the springs on it are designed for towing. Okay. So they're like the 250 would be a little bit more of a smoother ride. You know, this thing is designed for, like, it's got the dualies on it. Did you see?
Yeah, the intended.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't even want that really, but it's hit the brakes, hit the brakes, hit the brakes.
I gotta learn these brakes.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna ride. I'll catch up with you later.